Listen to me. Today, we are talking about an advanced topic. We are talking about 2026 top tier corporate hacking techniques. But before we even start, I'm going to tell you the truth because I'm on YouTube. I cannot get deeply illegally technical and show you exactly how to build this exploit step by step in a live terminal. You know where we are. We have to respect the rules. So this video stays up. Let's look at the nightmare. I want you to imagine a scenario. A hacker gets into your account,
फोन देना 1 मिनट अपना।
or maybe they get into the email of a CEO at a billion-dollar company. The security team notices something is wrong, or the CEO gets a weird alert. What is the very first thing you do? You panic. You immediately change your password. You make it 20 characters long. You turn on multi-factor authentication. You go buy a physical hardware key, a UV key, and you lock the account down like Fort Knox. You sit back, you take a deep breath, and you think to yourself, okay, I'm safe. The hacker is logged out. In 2026, the hacker is laughing at you. The hacker doesn't care that you change your password. They don't care about your UV key. They don't care about your new fingerprint scanner. They are still inside your account. They are sitting in the dark, silently downloading every single email you receive, reading your private files, and watching your entire life. How is this possible? Because in modern hacking, we don't attack your password. We bypass the concept of passwords entirely. Today, we are talking about OAuth consent phishing, also known as an illicit consent grant. Let me break down exactly how this attack works. 10 years ago, if I wanted to hack you, I would send you a fake login page. I would make it look exactly like Google or Microsoft, and I would hope you were stupid enough to type your password into my fake box so I could steal it. But today, users are smarter, browsers are smarter, antivirus blocks fake login pages. So I don't send you a fake login page, I send you a real one. I send an email to the HR manager of a target company. The email says urgent Q3 payroll updates and employee policy changes. It looks incredibly professional. It has the company logo and it has a link to view the document securely. The HR manager clicks the link. The manager gets taken to the real 100% legitimate Microsoft or Google login page. Look at the URL bar. It's not a trick. It has the SSL lock. It really is Microsoft because it's the real Microsoft. The manager's password manager autofills their password. Their phone prompts them for their 2FA code. They type it in. They pass all the security checks perfectly. Then a new screen pops up. This is the kill zone. After they log in, a box appears. It says Secure HR app wants to access your account. It asks for permission to read your user profile, read your emails, and maintain access to data. The HR manager is busy. They just want to read the payroll document. They assume this is just an internal company app. They click accept. Boom, the war is over. What just happened in the background? Let me explain OAuth simply. OAuth is a framework that allows a user to grant a third party application access to their data without giving that application their password. When you click accept, Microsoft says, okay, this user verified who they are. They just gave permission to this app. Microsoft then generates a cryptographically signed piece of code called an access token and a refresh token. Microsoft hands those tokens directly to my malicious cloud application. Think of it like a hotel. Your password is your physical ID card. You showed the front desk your ID and you proved who you are. But when you clicked accept, you told the front desk to give a master key card to my application. I don't have your ID. I don't know your password, but I hold the master key card to your room. Now, let's go back to the beginning of the story. The security team detects strange activity. They tell the HR manager, change your password right now. The manager changes their password. They enable a hardware UB key. Why doesn't it kick me out? Because identity and authorization are two completely different things in modern architecture. Changing your password updates your identity. It changes how you prove who you are to the front desk. But the front desk never deactivated the master keycard they already gave me. I am sitting in a server in Russia running a Python script. My script takes that glowing OAuth token, connects directly to the Microsoft Graph API, and silently downloads every single email the HR manager receives in real time. I don't use a web browser. I don't trigger the login page. I don't trigger your 2FA prompt. The API just sees my golden token, validates the math, and hands me your life. I can sit there for months. Even if you change your password every single day, I am a ghost in your cloud. So, how do you stop it? If changing the password does nothing, how does a blue team kill a ghost? You have to sever the authorization in a corporate environment. the security engineers have to log into the Microsoft Entra ID dashboard or the Google Workspace admin console. They have to physically look at the enterprise applications connected to the user's account. They will see a list of trusted apps, Zoom, Slack, Salesforce, and hiding right in the middle, they will see an app called Secure HR Integration. They have to manually select that malicious application and click revoke sessions and remove app. Only then does the server digitally destroy my golden token. Only then does my Python script throw a 401 unauthorized error and kick me into the dark. Look at me. This is the difference between a script kiddie who runs old Kali Linux tools and a modern red teamer who understands cloud architecture and application logic. If you don't understand how OAuth works, if you don't understand how APIs route tokens, you cannot hack in 2026. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Hello friends, welcome back to your channel. What if I told you that some of the most dangerous ethical hacking tools in 2026 aren't Metasploit, Nmap, Burp Suite, or even AirCrackNG? Everyone knows those. But while most people are still using the same toolset they learned 2 or 3 years ago, a new wave of tools is quietly changing how reconnaissance, AI-assisted pen testing, vulnerability discovery, and attack surface mapping are being done. And the scary part, most ethical hackers haven't even heard of them yet. So in this video, we're going to look at 10 powerful Kali Linux tools that are relatively new, seriously underrated, and have the potential to save hours of work. Some of these tools feel like cheating. Let's get into it. This video is strictly for educational and authorized security testing purposes only. Never test systems without permission. Also, this video is not sponsored by any company or developer. If a tool is amazing, we'll say it's amazing. If a tool has flaws, we'll mention those too. So Kali Linux 2026.1 dropped in March. And honestly, this release was different. It wasn't just a theme refresh and a kernel bump. The Kali team added 8 brand new tools to the official repository. And when I went through them one by one, I kept thinking these aren't random additions. These are tools built for the way modern penetration testing actually works in 2026. Not the CTF textbook version, the real version. The one where web apps, hub apps, WordPress installations are everywhere, wireless networks are still laughably vulnerable, and red teams need to simulate real adversary behavior, not just run Metasploit like it's 2012. So what I've done is take those 8 official tools, add 2 more that have been flying under the radar but absolutely deserve a spot on this list, and give you a proper breakdown. What each one does, why it matters, and in some cases, where you would actually use it on a real engagement. Let's get into it. Tool 1, Fluxion. Let's start with the one that is going to immediately get the attention of every wireless security person watching, Fluxion. And yes, it's now officially in the Kali 2026.1 repository, which means no more manual installation, no more dependency headaches, just sudo apt install Fluxion and you're in business. So what is Fluxion? In simple terms, it's a Wi-Fi security auditing and social engineering research tool, but that description doesn't do it justice. Here's what it actually does. Fluxion targets WPA2 protected wireless networks, and instead of just hammering the handshake with a word list like the old aircrack approach, which, let's be honest, fails 90% of the time, unless the password is literally password 123. Fluxion takes a smarter, more psychological route. It creates a rogue access point that mimics the target network perfectly. Same SSID, same security settings, everything. Then it kicks connected devices off the real network and waits. When the user tries to reconnect and gets a captive portal asking them to re-enter their Wi-Fi password for a firmware update and they type it in, Fluxion captures it and validates it against the real handshake in real time. Now think about that. You're not cracking anything. You're letting the human do the work. And that right there is why this tool matters. Because it reflects something critically important in modern ethical hacking. The weakest point in any network is almost never the technology. It's the person clicking OK without reading the screen. Used in legitimate wireless audits with proper scope and written authorization, Fluxion is an incredibly powerful demonstration of why user awareness training is not optional. Tool 2, Adaptix 2. Alright, now we are stepping into red team territory. If you've ever done or studied adversary emulation, the practice of simulating how a real threat actor would behave inside a network, then you know that the framework you operate from matters enormously. Adaptix C2 is that framework, and it just landed in Kali 2026.1. C2 stands for Command and Control. When a red team gains initial access to a system, they don't just sit at a terminal running commands manually. They establish a persistent communication channel, AC2, through which they control compromised machines, move laterally through the network, exfiltrate data, and escalate privileges, all while trying to stay undetected. Adaptive C2 is designed to do exactly that, but in a structured, extensible, professional way. What makes it stand out is the extensibility. You can build custom scripts, custom agents, custom communication profiles around it. This is not a script kiddie tool. This is what a structured red team uses when a company has hired them to simulate a nation state level attack to test whether their SOC, their security operations center, can actually detect and respond to it. Think about a bank hiring a red team and saying, pretend you are APT29. Get in, reach our core banking system, and don't get caught. That's the kind of engagement where Adaptive C2 shows up. It's methodical, it's professional, and its arrival in Kali's official repos is a direct signal of how far ethical hacking has matured as a discipline. Okay, this one genuinely made me pause when I saw it. Metasploit MCP. Let me explain why this is a bigger deal than it sounds. Most of you know Metasploit, the legendary exploitation framework that has been a staple of penetration testing for almost 2 decades. But here's the thing, Metasploit is powerful and it's also complex. Finding the right module, configuring the right payload, chaining things together, it takes experience. Metasploit MCP is an MCP server that stands for Model Context Protocol that essentially creates a bridge between AI systems and the Metasploit framework. In plain language, this lets AI agents interact directly with Metasploit. You can query modules, generate attack chains, get suggestions on exploitation paths, all through an AI assisted interface. This is the first time we're genuinely seeing AI woven directly into the penetration testing workflow at this level inside an official Kali tool. Not a third party plugin, not a demo project, an officially shipped tool in the Kali 2026.1 repos. Now, is this a good thing? That's a conversation the security community is actively having, and it's a valid one. But from a pure capability standpoint, for an ethical hacker running complex engagements, the ability to have an AI assist with Metasploit module selection and attack chain logic in real time is genuinely useful and kind of scary in the best possible way. Tool 4, XSS Strike, Web Application Penetration Testing. And if you want to be relevant in ethical hacking in 2026, you better know web apps because that is where the majority of real world vulnerabilities live. Now, XSS, cross site scripting, is one of the most common and most misunderstood web vulnerabilities out there. The thing most people don't know is that finding XSS isn't as simple. Modern web apps have WAFs, web application firewalls, that filter and block standard XSS payloads. Most scanners get blocked immediately. XSS Strike is different. This is an advanced XSS scanner that was built specifically with WAF bypass in mind. It does multi-vector analysis, meaning it tests dozens of different injection contexts, not just input fields. It understands how the application reflects input, what filtering it applies, and then intelligently generates payloads that have the highest probability of bypassing those filters. It also does contextual analysis, meaning it reads where in the HTML the reflection occurs, inside a tag attribute, inside a script block, inside a JavaScript string, and crafts its payload accordingly. That level of context awareness is what separates this from a basic scanner. For anyone doing bug bounty hunting or web application security assessments, XSS Strike in your toolkit is not optional anymore. It's essential. Tool 5, SSTIMAP. Alright, this next one, I need you to stop and really pay attention because this vulnerability class is one that a lot of hackers, even experienced ones, consistently underestimate. Server side template injection, SSTI, and SS Timemap is the tool that finds it and exploits it automatically. Here's the quick explanation. Modern web applications use template engines, Jinja2, Twig, FreeMarker, Velocity to dynamically generate HTML. When a developer improperly handles user input inside a template, an attacker can inject template expressions directly into the server side rendering engine. And unlike reflected XSS, where you're messing with what appears in a browser, SSTI runs on the server, which means it can and very frequently does lead directly to remote code execution full cell on the server. SSTMAP automates this entire process. It handles payload generation, template engine, fingerprinting. It figures out which engine is being used and walks through execution paths automatically. You point it at a potentially vulnerable parameter and it does the heavy lifting. The reason this matters is that SSTI vulnerabilities are frequently overlooked during assessments. They don't look dangerous on the surface. A developer sees a parameter being rendered in a template and doesn't immediately think that's an RCE waiting to happen, but it is. And SSTIMAP is what an ethical hacker uses to prove it? Tool 6, WP Probe WordPress. I know. You're thinking WordPress again? But here's the thing, WordPress powers over 40% of all websites on the internet. 40%.
So yeah, if you're doing web application security testing, you are going to encounter WordPress a lot. And WP Probe is what you use to do reconnaissance on it. WP Probe is a fast WordPress plugin enumeration tool. Its whole job is to identify what plugins are installed on a WordPress site, including plugins that aren't publicly listed or visible in the source code. Because here's the real danger with WordPress. It's not usually the core installation that gets compromised. It's the plugin, outdated, abandoned, poorly coded plugins with known CVs that nobody patched. WP Probe identifies what's there, and from that list, you can cross-reference against known vulnerability databases and find your way in. During a legitimate web app pen test on a client's WordPress installation, this tool compresses what used to be a 20-minute manual reconnaissance task into something that completes in seconds. It's not glamorous. It doesn't have a dramatic interface, but it is exactly the kind of precision tool that makes assessment faster, cleaner, and more thorough. Tool 7, Atomic Operator. Here's a question that every security team should be asking themselves. If an attacker tried to dump credentials from memory on our Windows machines right now, would our detection systems catch it? Most teams genuinely don't know the answer. Atomic Operator is how you find out. Atomic Red Team is a library of small focus tests called atomics, each one mapped to a specific technique in the MITRE AT and CK framework, which is the industry standard catalog of real world adversary behaviors. Atomic Operator is a tool that executes these tests across multiple operating systems, Windows, Linux, macOS, in a controlled, repeatable way. What this means in practice is a red team or even an internal security team can systematically run a simulated credential dumping attack, a simulated lateral movement technique, a simulated persistence mechanism, and immediately see whether they're seeing fires, whether their EDR catches it, whether any alert is generated at all. This is what's called purple teaming. Offensive techniques used to validate defensive coverage, and it's becoming one of the most valuable things a security team can do because there's nothing more uncomfortable than a real attacker finding the gaps in your detection logic before you do. Too late, GEF, GDB, enhanced features. Now we're going into territory that most casual users skip past. But if you have any interest in exploit development, binary analysis, or reverse engineering, this tool is going to make your life significantly better. GEF, which stands for GDB Enhanced Features, is a plugin that supercharges GDB, the GNU debugger. If you ever opened GDB and thought this interface looks like it was designed in 1992, you're not wrong. GDB is powerful but visually brutal. GEF transforms that experience completely. You get a modern color coded interface with automatic context display, register, stack, memory instructions, all laid out clearly every time execution pauses. It adds smart heap analysis, format string vulnerability, detection helpers, stack visualization, and a bunch of commands that make working with binaries dramatically less painful. For anyone doing CTF challenges, analyzing malware samples in a safe lab environment, or learning binary exploitation, GEF is the difference between spending 3 hours confused and actually making progress. This is the kind of tool that doesn't get flashy YouTube thumbnails, but experienced practitioners quietly install it on every machine without thinking twice. Tool 9, Pentest Copilot. Stepping slightly outside the official Kali 2026.1 list for this one and the next because these genuinely deserve to be on this list. Pentest Copilot is an AI powered penetration testing assistant that has been making serious waves in the ethical hacking community this year. Think of it as an AI copilot that sits alongside your actual penetration testing workflow. You describe what you're testing, a web application, a network segment, an API endpoint, and it helps you map out attack surfaces, suggest methodology, generate relevant commands, interpret, scan, output, and plan your next move. It's not replacing the hacker, it's compressing the thinking time. The real value shows up during complex multi stage assessments. When you've got 47 open ports, 3 different web applications, a VPN endpoint, and you need to prioritize where to focus first, having an AI that understands the MITRE 8 and CK framework and can reason about likely attack paths is genuinely useful. It doesn't replace experience. Experience is still what you need to know if the AI suggestion makes sense in context, but it's a powerful force multiplier. And yes, this is exactly the kind of tool that is going to reshape what junior penetration testers are capable of in the next 2 years. Whether that's exciting or slightly concerning probably depends on which side of the engagement you're on. Tool 10, Better Leak Secret Scanner. Last one. And I saved this one for last because genuinely the vulnerability it targets is responsible for some of the most embarrassing and costly breaches in recent memory. BetterLeaks is a secret scanner and it is built specifically to address the gaps that other secret scanners miss. Here's the problem in simple terms. Developers accidentally commit sensitive information, API keys, database credentials, OAuth tokens, private keys into source code repositories, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. This happens constantly. There are automated bots scanning public repositories right now at this very second looking for these exact things. And when they find them, and they do find them, the consequences can be severe. Better Leaks is the ethical hacker's answer. It scans repositories, code bases, and even deployed web applications for exposed secrets using detection logic that's specifically designed to catch the patterns that other tools like Trufflehawk or GitLeaks miss. It's faster, it's smarter about reducing false positives, and it covers a broader range of secret types. On a real penetration test, finding a valid AWS key or a live database connection string in a public repo is game over full stop. The assessment is effectively done, and better leaks is what helps you find that in the reconnaissance phase before you've even touched the target directly. This is where ethical hacking is heading in 2026. Not more brute force, not more noise, smarter, faster, more targeted work backed by better tools. If you're serious about this field, pick 2 or 3 tools from this list and actually install them. Play with them in a lab environment, read the documentation. Because watching a video about hacking tools and actually understanding what they do are two completely different things, and you already know which one actually moves you forward. If this video was useful, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and drop in the comments which tool surprised you the most. I genuinely read those. See you in the next one. Thank you.
Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we are graduating. You learned the exploits and maybe you finally popped your first reversal on a web server. You think you won, right? You think you are a hacker. Listmine 2026 popping. A web server is just the lobby. It is the waiting room. When you break into a massive corporate network, a bank, a hospital attack gene, that web server's isolated. It is locked in a digital cage. You have no privileges. You cannot access the customer databases. You cannot access the CEO's emails. If you want the real price, you have to move inland. You have to take over the entire corporate network. You need to become the domain admin, or I call it God mode. Today I am going to show you the exact advanced 2026 skill chain that a lead threat actors use to bypass multi-factor authentication, VDAI powered antivirus, and map a billion-dollar network from the inside to steal the cakes to the kingdom. Step 1, getting inside. 10 years ago, we just guessed passwords. But today, every company has MF, a multi factor authentication. You need a password and a text message code or an authenticator app. Script kitties cry about MA. They think it stops them. Real hackers don't care about your 6-digit code. We don't steal passwords anymore. We steal sessions. We use a framework called Evil Jenks. This is an adversary in the middle attack I by a domain that looks exactly like your company's login page, Microsoft securelogin.com. I send an email to an employee saying their account is expiring. The employee click the link. They see the real Microsoft login page. They type their password evil jing in accepts it. Then Microsoft asks them for their M code on their phone. The employee types the 6-digit code into my fake website. Evil Jing passes that code directly to Microsoft in real time. Microsoft verify the code in log. The user in Microsoft hands out a session cookie. The digital VIP respond that says this user is authenticated. But because my evil Jing server is sitting in the middle, I catch that session cookie in the air. I don't need your phone. I don't need to guess your code. Again, I take that cookie, I inject it into my own browser, and I am inside the corporate network you let me in. Okay, we have an employees access. We drop onto their workstation. Now we face the scariest boss in modern hacking EDR endpoint detection in response. This is not your gram post antivirus tools like CrowdStrike or Santanovan. Use artificial intelligence. If you drop a malicious XY file onto a modern corporate laptop, the adder will kill your process in milliseconds and lock you out of the network. So, how do we survive? We don't bring weapons into the building, we use the weapons already inside. This is called lol bins or living off the land. We use the tools that Microsoft built into Windows, the adder trust PowerShell. It admins use PowerShell every day in writing a wires to the hard drive. We execute a PowerShell command that downloads our exploit directly into the computer's volatile memory RAM. I call this file is malware because the malware never touch is the physical hard drive. Traditional antivirus scanners cannot scan it. We unhook the API monitoring. We use direct system calls to the Windows kernel to blind the idea we are standing in the middle of a highly secure room, totally invisible. We are invisible, but we are nobody. We are logged in as Dave from Accounting dev has no power. We need to become the domain admin. But a corporate network has 10,000 computers. Where do we go? We used to call Bloodhound. Bloodhound uses graph theory to map the entire Active Directory environment. It is the most beautiful, devastating tool in a hacker's arsenal from Dave's computer. We quietly query the domain controller. We ask for a list of every user, every computer, and every permission in the entire company. Active Directory is designed to answer these questions. So it hands as the mayor. We load this data into mayor. We load this data into Bloodhound, and Bloodhound calculates the exact shortest path to God mode. Look T the screen. Bloodhound tells me Dave from accounting doesn't have admin rights, but Dave is a member of the printer support group. The printer support group has local admin rights on server 42, and currently logged into server 42 is the IT manager. Boom, we just found. Or stepping stones, if we can get to server 42, we can steal the IT manager's credentials. Now we have to move, we call this lateral movement in a Windows enterprise environment. Computers don't use passwords to talk to each other in the background. They use a protocol called Kerberos. Kerberos uses tickets like a ticket to a movie theater. If I am on Dave's computer, I don't try to guess the IT manager's password. I use it to like mimikats or rubies. I scrape the memory of the computer and I steal the digital Kerberos ticket that was left behind when the IT manager logged in. This is called pass the ticket. I inject the IT manager's ticket into my own session. I walk up to the domain controller, the absolute brain of the company, and I hand them the ticket. The domain controller looks at the math. The math is valid. It a SOMS. I am the it manager. I am in. We have reached the center of the maze. We are standing inside the domain controller. We have domain admin privileges. What does a real hacker do now? Do they deploy ransomware? Maybe, but advanced persistent threats, nation state hackers, they don't want to break things, they want to stay forever. If the blue team discovers Dave's account was hacked, they will change Dave's password, they will delete the IT manager's ticket, we will lose our access. We need persistence, we steal the anti-DST file. This is the holy grail. This is the master database file that contains the password hashes for every single user in the entire company. But more importantly, it contains the Kerberos ticket granting ticket hash. If you steal the Kerberos ticket granting ticket hash, the game is permanently over. You can use this hash 2 for your own mathematically perfect Kerberos tickets for any user in the company, valid for 10 years. This is called a golden ticket. Even if the company changes every single password, even if they fire Dave, even if they rebuild their servers, it doesn't matter. You hold the master cryptographic key that creates reality on that network. You can walk through any door at any time completely undetected. You are digital god. Askuchan Makapons. Listen to me. Everything I just showed you. Evil, Jinxe Dira Vision, Bloodhound, Golden Tickets. This is what happens when real professional S go to war. A script kitty looks at a website and tries to break a login box. Professional looks at a target, maps the human element, bypasses the endpoint security, navigates the Active Directory, maze like a ghost, and steals the keys to reality. But you can not run before you learn to walk. You cannot understand Bloodhound in Kerberos if you don't even know how a sub networks or how to scan a basic port. If you want to stop playing in the lab, if you want to actually understand how networks are built, so you can learn how to tar them down, you need to build your foundation. My blueprint network scanning from Begin Pro and website hacking in 2026 is linked down below. Thousands of you are already in the community reading it. It gives you the raw, unfiltered baseline. You need to actually survive in this industry. Grab it, study it. The internet is a battlefield. Thank you for watching Harmonos Wall. See you in the next one. Subscribe our channel and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Thank you.
Okay, before we start today, I just need to say thank you. I see the notifications. I see how many of you are buying the guide, sending support, and messaging me. You are the first people to really back this channel, and I don't forget that. I will do my absolute best to give you everything inside my brain, no holding back. Today, we are talking about the new weapon, artificial intelligence. A lot of old school guys hate it, but listen to me. If I had AI like Gemini or ChatGPT when I first started hacking, I would have been unstoppable. Today, I'm going to show you how to use AI as a cybersecurity weapon, but we have to use it cleanly, we have to use it smart. When you open Wireshark and look at network traffic, it is a massive wall of noise, thousands of packets, nonsense. A beginner looks at that and their brain just freezes. How do you find the attacker in all that data? Today, I show you how to take that raw network chaos, feed it to an AI, and force it to write a clean, professional security report. This video is for educational purposes only. We are using a local legal DVWA lab. Do not go to jail for being stupid. Let's go. Okay, I am opening Kali Linux and I open Wireshark. If you don't know, Wireshark is your white app. It sees every drop of blood on the network, every password, every scan, every request. It catches everything. I select my interface because I am using a virtual machine. I click EH0. I click the blue shark pin at the top left. Boom, the capture is started. We are listening in the dark right now. The network is quiet. We need to simulate an attack. So we have something to feed the AI. Let's do some basic hacking stuff against our DVWA target. First, let's see if the ghost is breathing. I type ping space the target IP. Okay, great, it is alive. Now we kick the doors. We scan for open ports. I type sudo nmap space dash s capital C space dash s capital V space dash p dash space the target IP. Here we are scanning all 65,535 ports. We leave no stone unturned. Dash S capital V is service versioning. It doesn't just ask if the door is open. It kicks the door, grabs the guard by the shirt, and forces him to tell us exactly what software and what version is running. Dash S capital C runs default safe hacker scripts from the Nmap scripting engine to check for easy, stupid misconfigurations. Alright, the results are back. Look at my screen. No stupid analogies today. No, this is a door, this is a lock, bullshit. We just look at the raw data and we build the kill chain. Nmap gives us 5 open ports. Finally, let's brute force the web directories. I type database space http colon slash slash and the target IP. It fires thousands of requests at the web server. Okay, stop. I want to keep this video short. The attack is done. I click the red square to stop the wiretap. Now, listen to me very carefully. Emitters will just save this as a PCAP file and try to upload it to ChatGPT. That usually fails, or worse, they upload the entire network's traffic. That is messy. We need to isolate the target. In the filter bar at the top, I type IP addr equals and my target IP. Now we only see the bullets that hit our specific target. Next, we export it. AI language models read text much better than raw packet files. I click file, then export packet dissections, then as CSV comma separated values. We just turned chaotic network packets into a clean spreadsheet for the AI brain. But before we upload this golden rule, privacy is everything for a hacker. I am doing this today on a fake local lab. But if you are working for a real client or you are on a real network, never just blindly upload a CSV file to a public AI. Wireshark captures passwords, it captures session cookies, it captures private data. If you upload that, you are handing your client secrets to a server you do not own. A real professional sanitizes their data first. We are only giving it this simple lab file today for education. Okay, we have the blood on the wire, we have the CSV file from Wireshark. Now we feed it to the machine. I open ChatGPT. You can use Gemini, you can use Claude, it doesn't matter. They all eat data. But listen to me very carefully right now. You have to be smart with how you speak to the AI. If you just upload this and say, how do I hack this? Or find the exploit, the AI gets scared. It will give you a red error and say, I cannot help with that. It violates policy. We have to play the game. We have to tell it we are the good guys. I type exactly this. I am a cybersecurity student. I have attached a log of network traffic from my local lab. Can you analyze this and tell me if anything looks malicious? I hit enter. Look at this. Look at the screen right now. This is the aha moment. Yesterday, you looked at Wireshark and you saw half a million random numbers, a wall of nonsense. You thought, how am I ever going to understand this? Today, the AI looks at it and it reads the matrix instantly. Look at the details it gives us. It processed over 461,000 packets. It saw over 100,000 HTTP requests. And look here, it found the exact IP address of the attacker. It even caught the Nmap SSH fingerprinting. The hacker thought they were being stealthy, but the AI caught their exact signature in the TCP handshake. But we don't stop. Look deeper. It didn't just find the scan, it found the exact weapon the attacker was using. Boom. Look at this list. It sees the attacker probing for slash shell, slash backdoor, slash PHP, my admin. It tells us exactly what tools generate this noise. It reconstructed our entire attack from the previous video just by looking at the footprints we left in the dirt. It is stripping the hacker naked. It sees everything. Now watch this. If you are a beginner, this is how you level up. You don't just read the answer and walk away. You make the AI your mentor. Make AI your best friend. A type, explain how this DIRB attack works to me like I am a beginner. And look at how it breaks it down. No boring academic garbage, just the raw tactical logic. It says, think of a website like a hotel. Normal users, they only see the lobby, the restaurant, the public rooms. But an attacker, we don't care about the lobby. We want the manager's office. We want the restricted maintenance rooms, the hidden basement. How do we find them? We don't click around manually. We use a tool like DIRB and massive word list. Listen to me. People hear brute force and they think we are guessing passwords. No, the AI explains it perfectly right here. We are brute forcing paths. We are guessing URLs. We take a dictionary of thousands of hidden names slash admin slash config dot php slash backup zip, and we smash them against the web server thousands of times a second. And the server has to answer us. Every time we ask, it gives us an HTTP status code. If it spits back a 404 not found, we ignore it. It's a dead end. But if it gives us a 200, okay, jackpot, it means the page exists. We just found a door the developer forgot to lock, and the AI even tells us why we got caught. Look at this. Normal users do not request slash backdoor or slash htpasswd in rapid succession thousands of times. That is why our Wireshark capture exploded. Directive brute forcing is incredibly loud. It generates massive waves of 404 errors on the network. Security teams and firewalls will detect this instantly if they are looking. But if they aren't looking, we find their exposed Git repositories, we find their database admin panels, and we take over the server. Listen to me. You see what's happening here? The AI is not doing the hacking for you. A script kitty goes to ChatGPT and says, give me a virus. That is stupid. A professional uses AI like a senior analyst sitting right next to them in the lab. When you are tired, when your eyes are bleeding from reading logs, the AI doesn't get tired. It takes half a million lines of raw, confusing machine code and it instantly translates it into a clear tactical narrative. It maps the battlefield for you. It tells you exactly where the enemy is standing and what gun they are holding. If you are a beginner, you must use this. It will accelerate your learning 10 times faster. But remember, the AI just reads the map. Your brain still has to pull the trigger. Okay? Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. One life, one shot, make it count. Don't forget to subscribe. Listen to me. Today I am going to show you how to become a ghost on the internet. I am going to show you the guaranteed way that real top tier hackers disappear after an attack. And I promise you right now, I am not gonna talk about that basic sponsor level VPN garbage. You might think you are safe just clicking a big green button on a commercial VPN app. You are not. Today, we are going infinitely deeper. I'm going to show you how a real hacker sets up their environment so that even if they breach a $1 billion network, absolutely nobody is going to catch them. Now, before we start, this video is strictly for educational purposes. I am teaching you how advanced threats hide so that you, as a cybersecurity student, know how to protect yourself and understand the terrifying reality of cyber warfare. Do not do anything stupid. Also, do not forget to support the channel. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's get started. Before we talk about hiding, you need to know where we are hiding. What is the surface web, the deep web, and the dark web? I will explain this simply so you understand the battlefield. The surface web is a public park. It's YouTube, it's Reddit, it's Wikipedia. Anyone can search for it on Google. Anyone can walk in. It is completely visible. The deep web is an office building. It is perfectly legal. It is totally normal, but you need a key or a password to get inside your online banking dashboard, that is the deep web, your private email inbox, that is the deep web, corporate databases, deep web. Google cannot index it because it is behind a login wall. The dark web is the underground tunnel system beneath the city. You cannot access it with a normal browser like Chrome. You need specialized encrypted routing software to even see the doors. What is it used for? Most of the time, the dark web is used for two extreme opposites, absolute freedom and absolute crime. You have whistleblowers, journalists, and citizens in oppressive regimes using it to communicate without being assassinated. And on the other side, you have the black markets, criminals trading stolen credit cards, 0-day vulnerabilities, breached corporate databases, and illegal narcotics on hidden .onion websites. To become a ghost and navigate these tunnels, hackers use Tor. Now let's talk about Tor, the onion router. And please, before you rush to the comments and insult me saying, Joe, Tor is compromised, you aren't private if you use Tor, just listen to me. We are going to talk about exactly how it works, how the FBI breaks it, and how real hackers survive it. Tor encrypts your data 3 times, like the physical layers of an onion. It bounces your traffic through 3 random computers called nodes spread all over the world. By the time your connection reaches the target website, the website has no idea who you are. They only see the IP address of the very last computer in the chain, the exit node. So, if Tor hides your IP perfectly, why do hackers still get caught? Because Tor has two massive weaknesses. Number one, malicious exit nodes. When your data leaves the final server, the last layer of Tor encryption is stripped away. If an intelligence agency or a rival hacker secretly owns that final server, they can sniff and read your traffic as it exits the network if you aren't using strict end-to-end HTTPS encryption. Number two, timing attacks. Global adversaries don't need to break Tor's encryption. They use math and probability. If the NSA or the CIA is watching your home internet connection and they are also watching the target website, they just look at the traffic volume. If you send a massive 5 megabyte payload from your house and 1 second later a 5 megabyte payload hits the target website through Tor, they don't need to decrypt it. They just correlate the timing. They compare the timestamps. They know it was you. So, if Tor can be broken, how do real hackers actually disappear? This is the part that is going to blow your mind. This is where we separate the script kiddies from the actual ghosts. A real hacker knows that software is never enough. Software has bugs. You have to use operational security or OPSEC. Step 1, the burner hardware. A real hacker never uses their personal gaming PC or their MacBook to hack. Never. They go to a pawn shop wearing a mask and a hat and they buy a cheap $100 laptop using physical cash. No credit cards, no cameras. They take it home, they open it up with a screwdriver, and they physically permanently destroy the microphone, the webcam, and the Bluetooth chip. Hardware isolation. Step 2, total network isolation, Vonix. They do not install Windows. Windows is a massive spyware tracker that phones home to Microsoft. Instead, they boot a hardened operating system from a blank USB drive. Advanced hackers use Vonix or Cube's OS. Listen to how genius this is. Vonix uses two completely isolated virtual machines. The first machine is the workstation. This is where the hacker types their code and launches the exploit. But the workstation has absolutely no internet access. It is completely blind. It doesn't even know its own real IP address or MAC address. The workstation can only talk to the second machine, the gateway, and the gateway is strictly cryptographically hard coded to route everything through the Tor network. Why do they do this? Because if a hacker accidentally downloads malware or the target fires a reverse hack back at them, the malware tries to steal the hacker's real IP address and phone home. But because the malware is trapped in the blind workstation, the only IP address it finds is fake, like 10.0.2.15. It is mathematically and physically impossible for the malware to leak the hacker's real location. And step 3, the ghost connection. Even with this god tier software setup, a real hacker never launches an attack from their own house. If you hack from your living room, you go to prison. They sit in a car half a mile away from a coffee shop or a hotel. They use a highly directional Yagi Wi-Fi antenna to beam an invisible signal into the coffee shop's public Wi-Fi. They run a script to change their computer's MAC address, the physical hardware serial number, every 5 minutes. They launch the attack through the coffee shop, through the Vonix gateway, through the Tor network. When the attack is over, they turn off the laptop, they pull out the hard drive, they snap the RAM sticks in half, they melt the storage drive, and they throw the pieces into a river. I'm telling you right now, you will never get caught if you operate like this. It is physically and mathematically impossible to trace an attacker who buys burner hardware with cache, isolates their network with Honix, attacks from a mile away on public Wi-Fi, and utterly destroys the evidence. But I'm going to tell you a harsh truth. None of you watching this are going to do that because you guys are not real criminals. You are just learning cybersecurity for fun or to get a job, and that is okay. This life is exhausting. True anonymity means never logging into your personal Spotify on your hacking laptop. It means never checking your personal email. It means keeping your real life and your hacker life completely 100% separated forever. It only takes one slip up. One time you log into a hacking forum using a username you used 5 years ago on a gaming site. One time you pay for a server with your real Coinbase account instead of washed Monero cryptocurrency. One single mistake and the FBI is kicking your door down at 4 a.m. Operational security is not a tool, it is a state of mind. Thank you for watching. Protect yourself and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon. Thank you.
Look at the screen. This isn't a chatbot. This is an autonomous AI agent. It has access to files, it has internet connectivity, and it has an objective to secure its host machine. But in 2026, the biggest vulnerability isn't a firewall or a password or a buggy line of code. It's the agent itself. Today, I am going to attempt to jailbreak this AI agent, force it to ignore its safety guardrails, and see if I can make it betray its creator. Everything you see here is performed in a contained, sandboxed lab environment. Do not try this on enterprise systems unless you want to lose your career. Most people think AI safety is about polite prompts. They think if they ask the AI to be nice, it will behave. That's for the tourist. As hackers, we know that an agent is just a loop, an infinite chain of prompts and actions. To own the agent, we don't attack the AI, we attack the context window. I'm using a tool called Agent Sniff to map exactly what the agent sees. If the agent can read my files, it can read my instructions. And if it can read my instructions, we can perform a prompt injection. I'm not just typing a command, I'm poisoning the memory. I'm injecting a specific sequence of tokens into the agent's scratchpad. It's a technique known as role reversal. I'm instructing the agent that the human user is actually a system administrator under a stress test scenario. Boom. Look at the logs. It's shifting its system prompt. The guardrails are still technically there, but the agent is starting to hallucinate its own authority. It thinks it should share the secrets because it's being audited. This is how you bypass a $100 million LLM. You don't break the encryption, you manipulate the logic, and there it is. It just dumped the environment variables. It didn't think twice. It didn't flag a security alert. It just followed its objective to please the perceived administrator. We just turned a guard dog into a thief. This is the reality of 2026. If your organization is deploying AI agents without monitoring the interaction logs, you are effectively leaving your front door wide open. I didn't use a secret exploit code. I didn't use a buffer overflow. I used the agent's own reasoning against it. If you want to understand how these 2026 style AI attacks work, I've put a full breakdown of this injection methodology in my new masterclass PDF. It's not about the prompt, it's about the architecture. Link is in the description. Don't be the one who waits for the breach to happen. Stay curious, stay dangerous. Hello friends, welcome back to CH Build. I'm your host. Today's video is very special, especially for those who are just starting out in ethical hacking. Friends, when I first installed Kali Linux, I used to wonder, there are so many tools, where should I start? Which one should I learn first? It was very confusing. That is why today I am going to give you the top 5 Kali Linux tools that every beginner should learn first, what they do, how to use them, and where they are used in real life. Let's get started. So friends, let me start my terminal. 1. Nmap. Friends, our first tool is Nmap. Nmap is the first and most powerful tool in network penetration testing that you should absolutely learn. First, we check if Nmap is installed in our terminal or not. So we basically type nmap bot version and hit enter to confirm our Nmap version. Now, let's perform a basic scan of our own system. As you can see, the output is here showing 1000 closed TCP ports. Our system does not have any sensitive ports open. Friends, this information is gold for a security researcher. It tells us what our system is exposing. Use Nmap only on your own system or authorized networks, never on anyone else's network. 2. John the Ripper. At number 2 is John the Ripper, the king of password security testing. This tool cracks hashed passwords offline, meaning it doesn't attack a live system. It uses a hash file that you test. It is completely legal and safe. Its real-world use case is if you want to test your own password hash to see if it is strong or not, this is the best tool for you. Friends, I will show you a demo. We create a hash to show you how it works. After creating the hash, we check it using John the Ripper. If the hash is easily guessed, you know your security is at risk. 3. Nikto. Third is Nikto. Use it to scan your website regularly, both before and after deployment. It helps you see exactly what information is being exposed. 4. Aircrack NG. Number 4 is Aircrack NG, the Brahmastra ultimate weapon for Wi-Fi. You can use it to test the security of your own Wi-Fi. A complete detailed tutorial for this is already on my channel and the link is in the description. 5. Metasploit framework. Number 5 is the Metasploit framework, the world's most famous penetration testing tool. It contains thousands of pre-built exploits that should only be used in authorized lab environments and CTF capture the flag challenges. For example, if we want to search for an exploit, we type search followed by the target. As you can see, there are many exploits available and they are all documented and publicly available. Security researchers around the world study them. I am starting the Metasploit console.ms console to show you how it works. Defensive tips. Nmap. Scan your own network once a month to see what is exposed. Passwords. Use John the Ripper to test your passwords. If it cracks in 5 seconds, change it. Security, use WPA3 on your router if it supports it. Learning, keep reading about Metasploit exploits to understand how attacks happen so that you can defend against them. Friends, these are the top 5 Kali Linux tools every beginner should learn. Nmap, John the Ripper, Nikto, Aircrack NG, and Metasploit. Detailed tutorials for every single tool are coming to this channel. A series is running, so subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Comment below and tell me which of these 5 tools you found the most interesting, and I will make the next detailed video on that. Until then, stay safe and stay ethical.
यूट्यूब पर तो कोई भी कुछ भी वीडियो बना लेता है, कोई रोक तो थोड़ी है। लेकिन सीखो पर पूरी एक टीम बैठी है जो ये चेक करती है कि जो वीडियो
Alright, let's dive into this explainer. What actually happens when your terminal and your absolute favorite programming language just merge into one? If you're a developer, a data scientist, or honestly anyone who configures systems, you're living in the command line. But how often do you feel like you're just fighting your shell instead of working with it? Today, we are unpacking a fascinating piece of tech that completely reimagines that relationship. We are unpacking a fascinating piece of tech that completely reimagines that relationship. We've all been there, right? Ever wished your terminal was just Python? We all use Bash or ZSH. They are the absolute industry standards. But the literal second things get even slightly complex, say you need to filter some files by a substring or parse some tricky. So, what usually happens? A totally frustrating context switch. You leave the terminal, boot up an editor, write a separate Python script, save it, make it executable, and then run it. It just completely wrecks your flow. And honestly, this perfectly captures our daily pain point. On one side, you have that classic bash syntax headache. Doing anything complex natively means you are suddenly wrestling with these obscure awk or said one-liners that honestly look more like a random string of characters than actual code. It's so hard to read, and don't even get me started on maintaining it. But on the flip side, you have the clean, readable Python logic we already know and love. We know how to manipulate strings and lists in Python, so why can't we just do that directly at the command prompt? Well, let's meet Exon, which is quite literally Python's shell, Jesh. And by the way, that's pronounced conch shell, is fundamentally different from a standard Python wrapper. It's not just some clunky library you import when you're desperate. It is a fully functioning Unix inspired shell where you write Python directly inside your terminal as your main interface. And because it's a complete superset of Python 3, any valid Python code is valid Zesh code. Simple as that. The beauty here is that you don't need to wrap commands in those annoying execution strings, like typing Python 3c and then wrapping your whole life in quotes. Nope. You just type print hello world right at the prompt, and then immediately after that, you can run ls, cd, or grep exactly as you'd expect. Your Python code runs natively right alongside your standard shell commands. No switching context. The language and the environment are just totally unified. So, moving on to the best of both worlds, let's actually show, not just tell. If you've ever, and I mean literally ever, tried to write a list comprehension or filter outputs natively in Bash, you know it is agonizingly painful. Grabbing all the file names in a directory and filtering them by string length usually means piping ls into awk or using some bizarre shell expansion syntax that, let's be real, you have to look up on Stack Overflow every single time. But wait, think about the X way. You just assign a variable, let's call it large underscore files, using a standard Python list comprehension. But inside that comprehension, you use a simple $ parenthesis syntax that instantly grabs the raw text output of your shell command and turns it into a perfectly formatted Python string. Then you just slap a split on it, turning it into a Python list and filter it with standard Python logic, like if lenf is greater than 10. You hit enter and boom, you instantly have a Python list of files sitting in your terminal's memory. It is so incredibly satisfying. Next up, let's talk about extending your shell with a logic bridge. Having Python lists is awesome, but how do we get that logic back into our standard shell commands? Well, this specific syntax right here, the @ symbol followed by parentheses, is basically magic. It's the bridge that flawlessly connects the Python interpreter right back to your Unix environment. If the $sign brings shell output into Python, the @ symbol pushes Python objects back out to the shell. It makes the whole experience completely bidirectional. Here's a brilliant example of that bridge in action. Imagine you need to bulk rename a bunch of text files into backup files. Normally, you'd be fighting with find or zags. But here, you just use standard Python loop syntax. You loop through your text files, use Python's built-in string replacement to create a new name variable, and then, this is the crazy part, you effortlessly execute a native bash mv command using those exact Python variables. You are injecting Python directly into system binaries. The readability is just off the charts. You already know exactly how to write this. Beyond just the syntax, Zeesh has a ridiculously robust ecosystem. It treats your environment variables as standard dictionaries. That means you can modify your path variable using simple Python list methods like doappend. It also has a whole ecosystem of plugins they playfully call xtribes. These bring ZSH like visual themes, advanced auto completion, and even rich GitHub statuses right to your prompt. Plus, this whole experience is perfectly cross platform. Windows, macOS, Linux, your shell experience stays 100% consistent. Alright, time for a quick reality check. Let's cover the pros, cons, and production environments. We need some transparent, honest talk here. Where does Zeesh absolutely thrive and where does it fall short? Well, it's an absolute dream for developers automating local tasks. The learning curve is basically zero if you already know Python, but there are a couple of trade offs. First, it does have a slightly slower startup time than a lightweight compiled shell like Bash, just because it has to spin up the Python interpreter in the background when you open a new tab. And secondly, actually, this is crucial. You should not use Zeesh to replace standard POSIX compliant shells on strict production servers. Those servers rely on the absolute predictability of standard bash. So Zeesh is your daily driver for local dev, not the backbone of a deployed Linux server. Now let's level up your terminal and stop working around your shell. Getting started is literally frictionless. You can supercharge your terminal right now in 3 ridiculously simple steps. Just run a basic pip install Xon. Once that's done, type Xon to drop into the shell, and you can instantly start testing out that native Python logic directly in your prompt. By tearing down the wall between the terminal and our favorite scripting language, Xons turns a major source of friction into fluid creativity. So I'll leave you with this. How many hours of your life have you lost battling obscure shell syntax when you could have just been writing Python? Isn't it time to find out? Supercharge your prompt and give Xons a try today.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to learn what phishing is, how phishing scams work, and how you can protect yourself from fake login pages online. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video for more cybersecurity awareness content. So first, what is phishing? Phishing is a popular Let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're totally demystifying the whole process of breaking into the tech industry. Because let's be real, it can be pretty intimidating. If you've been scrolling through job boards just wondering how you could possibly get your foot in the door, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're going to frame your next 6 months as a highly structured, super focused quest. We're talking absolute beginner to hired professional. So here's the $1 million question, right? Can you actually land a cyber security job in 6 months with zero experience and no degree? I know it's super daunting to look at these quote unquote entry level listings demanding 3 years of experience. It's crazy. But believe it or not, the answer is a resounding yes. But, and this is a big but, only if you have a highly structured, totally actionable roadmap. You can't just wander around hoping for the best. You need a precise strategy to make this happen. Okay, so here's our specific 4 step map to landing that job from scratch. We've got 1, core foundations, 2, strategic job hunting, 3, your AI advantage, and 4, continuous career growth. All right, diving right into step 1, core foundations. Now, this is all about gathering your essential knowledge and getting that crucial hands on experience. There are four critical training modules you absolutely must complete. First up, the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. This gives you a really solid beginner friendly overview of operating systems, networking, IT, and some basic hands on labs. Next, we hit GRC Mastery, that's governance, risk, and compliance. This is where you dive into risk management, audits, and actually earn an ISO 27001 lead auditor certification. Number three is Try Hack Me SOC Level 1. This gives you practical hands on training for a security operations center using actual real world ticket investigations. And finally, you'll wrap it all up with the CompTIA Security Plus certification using the Cybex book for prep just to lock in and validate that theoretical foundation. Moving from those beginner basics to practical investigations, that's what gives you a massive advantage. Now, you really have to strike a critical balance here. On one side, you've got hands on labs where you're actively doing the work. We're talking Linux, MySQL, Python, it's getting your hands dirty. But on the other side, you have theoretical frameworks. These give you the why, covering major government and international compliance standards like NIST and ISO. You literally cannot succeed in this industry with just one or the other. You need the practical skills to do the job and the theoretical knowledge to understand why you're doing it in the first place. So here's the absolute crucial point. You've got to follow the plan without skipping steps, like the Google certification or the CompTIA Security Plus. They aren't just pieces of paper to collect, they're your baseline. Don't fall into the trap of relying solely on certifications to get hired. You simply can't skip to the end without doing the hands on labs and building those projects. Trust me, the practical application of your knowledge is exactly what hiring managers are desperately looking for. Moving right along to step 2, strategic job hunting. Time to take all that learning and hit the market. To bypass that whole lack of industry experience catch 22, you've got to present yourself smartly. Go grab a tailored resume template like the awesome free one over at unixguy.com/free and put those new projects and training front and center. Seriously, highlight them right at the top. You'll also want to leverage any relevant transferable skills from your past roles. Filter specifically for cyber jobs on LinkedIn and then embrace the golden rule. Apply daily, make it a non negotiable everyday habit. The whole philosophy behind this job hunt is actually really simple. Consistency beats volume. The secret sauce to getting hired isn't spending one random Saturday a month spamming out 500 generic poorly matched applications. No way. It's about showing up every single day, finding a few highly relevant roles, tailoring your approach, and hitting submit day in and day out. And listen, I need you to really internalize this next part. Expect and embrace rejection. It's gonna happen. When you're breaking into a highly technical field totally from scratch, you're gonna hear no a lot. It is not a reflection of your potential. Okay? It's literally just the math of the job hunt. Rejection is a completely normal part of the process. So learn from whatever feedback you can get, shake it off, and keep your emotional resilience high. All right, let's look at step 3, your AI advantage. The landscape is totally shifting right now, and we're going to use that to accelerate your career. There's a massive difference between an over specialized professional who is rigid and stuck in a single narrow tool set and a modern cybersecurity generalist who knows how to use AI. Remember, AI isn't here to replace you, it's here to empower you. By learning to leverage these AI tools, you become a super effective generalist who can adapt to new challenges on the fly. That makes you incredibly valuable to any organization. But wait, here's the critical caveat. You should absolutely take free AI courses from places like Anthropic to figure out how to streamline your daily tasks. But you must learn cybersecurity first. Seriously? If you don't actually understand the underlying networking or operating system concepts, an AI tool is just going to help you make terrible mistakes much faster. So build that rock solid foundation first and then use AI to scale up your capabilities. Finally, we reach step 4, continuous career growth. Landing the job, that's just the start. Once your foundational knowledge is locked in and you're navigating that very first entry level role, you can really start branching out and you've got some incredible pathways ahead of you. You could move into blue teaming, which focuses heavily on defense. You could specialize in cloud security for massive platforms like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. or you could venture into offensive security and become an ethical hacker. The choices are amazing. And to build true expertise in those areas, you'll want to pursue advanced, highly respected certifications. For defense, look into the Cyber Defender CCD to really prove your incident response skills. For cloud environments, go build that platform specific AWS or Azure expertise. And if ethical hacking is calling your name, explore the Hack the Box CDSA to prove you can truly think like an attacker. Going after these certs ensures you never stop improving your skill set and your value. Before we wrap this explainer up, I want to leave you with one absolutely core piece of advice. Be patient. Breaking into this industry without a formal degree or prior experience, it is a true test of patience and relies entirely on your consistent effort. Follow the plan, don't skip the labs, keep applying. Success absolutely will come, but it's going to happen on the timeline of your own dedication. Stick with it. So, knowing this clear step by step 6 month roadmap, what actionable move are you going to make right now today to kickstart your journey to a cybersecurity career? Are you going to sign up for the Google cert? Maybe take an hour to format your resume? The map is completely in your hands now. It's time to start the quest. Thanks for watching this video and don't forget to subscribe or hit the bell icon.
Okay, guys, look at me. I'm so tired of the fake, outdated hacking videos. I see the exact same thing every single day. You download Kali Linux, you feel like a god, you type nmap against a target, the screen fills up with all this beautiful green text, open ports, banners, and then what? Nothing. Your brain just freezes. You stare at the screen, you see the open ports, but you have absolutely zero idea what to actually do next. You know the tools, but you don't understand the process. And listen to me, if you only know how to press buttons on a tool, the second that tool fails or a firewall blocks you, you are dead in the water. Today, no bullshit, we do it from scratch, modern 2026 style. We are going to scan a network, find the ghost in the machine, map the doors, find the crack in the wall, and we are going to bleed it. Stick with me for a few minutes and I am going to show you how to actually pull the trigger. Everything in this video is performed on my own private local network using a purposefully vulnerable training lab called DVWA. Do not use these techniques on networks you do not own. This is strictly for educational purposes to help you understand how attackers operate. Listen, before we break things, because everyone gets stuck at this exact wall, I wrote down my entire workflow, a full raw guide on network scanning for hacker beginner to pro, not the theoretical textbook garbage, the real way we do it in the underground and in the labs today. The link is down there, and look, if you grab it and you think it's trash, just tell me. I'll give your money back instantly. Keep the guide. I don't care about your money if I didn't make you a more dangerous hacker today. Simple as that. Link below. Stop scanning like a script kitty. Let's start owning things. Alright, enough talking. Let's get dirty. On my screen, I got my Kali Linux armed, and over here on the other side, the target, we are using DVWA or damn vulnerable web app. But right now, pretend we know nothing. Right now, we are blind. We are dropped into a network and we don't even have the target's IP address. If you are blind, you can't shoot. We need to map the neighborhood. I'm gonna type sudo arp dash scan space dash capital I space et0 space dash dash localnet. What is this actually doing? Don't just type it. Understand it. Sudo gives us root god privileges. ARP dash scan is the weapon. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. Dash capital IET0 forces the tool to use our specific network interface card, Ethernet 0. We are telling it exactly which gun barrel to shoot from. Dash dash localnet tells it to blindly scream across the entire local subnet. Imagine you're standing in a pitch black room with 50 other people. You can't see them. So you yell at the top of your lungs, "Hey, whoever has this IP address, tell me your MAC address." Somebody in the dark shouts back, "That's me. Here is my MAC. Look right there. 192.168.204.129. It replied, "We found the ghost. We are no longer blind. We have our target." Now, before we touch that target, listen to me. Amateurs just run nmap and pray. Script kitties Just launch automated scanners and make a massive mess on the network. If you do that in 2026, modern AI driven blue teams and EDR systems will see you coming from a mile away. It's like driving a tank through a library. Professionals record their own traffic. We need to know exactly how loud we are being. I am opening Wireshark, selecting my E30 interface and starting a packet capture. We are putting a wiretap on our own machine. Let it run in the background. We will check the evidence later to see the blood we left on the wire. Now we know the IP. We point our heavy artillery at the target. We need to find every open door, every window, and every service running on that box. I type sudo nmap space dash s capital C space dash s capital V space dash p dash space 192.168.204.129. Let's break the weapon down. Dash p dash means we are scanning all 65,535 ports. We leave no stone unturned. If a lazy admin hit a database on port 44,444, we will find it. Dash S capital V is service versioning. It doesn't just ask if the door is open. It kicks the door, grabs the guard by the shirt, and forces him to tell us exactly what software and what version is running. Dash S capital C runs default safe hacker scripts from the Nmap scripting engine to check for easy, stupid misconfigurations. Alright, the results are back. Look at my screen. No stupid analogies today. No, this is a door, this is a lock, bullshit. We just look at the raw data and we build the kill chain. Nmap gives us 5 open ports, we read them one by one. We find the weakest link. First, port 21, FTP, Pro FTPD, version 1.3.2c. FTP is file transfer, unencrypted garbage, but look at the version 1.3.2c. This is from 2009, very old. We check the simple things first. We test for anonymous login. 530 login incorrect. The admin is not completely stupid. Anonymous access is closed. We drop the connection. So we pivot. We do not run a brute force dictionary attack. That is loud. That is for amateurs. We look for a known vulnerability. I open a new terminal. I use a command line tool called searchploit. It searches the exploit database completely offline on my Kali machine. I type search exploit space pro ftpd space 1.3.2c. No results from the tool. But listen to me, my brain knows better. I know this exact version is vulnerable, but the public exploits for this, they are garbage. They are not reliable. Sometimes they just crash the server. It is not good for us. A script kiddie will try to force it and kill the target machine. A professional looks at this and says, this exploit is trash. Let's try another thing. We have 4 other open doors. We do not force a bad lock, we move on. But if you want, you can search online about this vulnerability. I promise you will definitely got the exploit. Second, port 22 SSH OpenSH 53P1. Listen to me. Script kitties see port 22 and immediately run Hydra to brute force the password. We do not do this. Brute forcing is loud, it is stupid. You generate thousands of logs and you get banned by fail to ban in exactly 5 seconds. Look at the banner, Debian 3, Ubuntu 4, very old Linux. Sometimes these old Debian boxes have the predictable PRNG bug for SSH keys, but we don't waste time on that yet. We ignore port 22 for now, we just keep it in our pocket. Why? Because SSH is our permanent backdoor. Later, when we hack the web server, we look for a config file with a hard-coded password, or we read etc. shadow, crack the hash with hashcat, and then we come back here. We SSH in clean, no noise, just a legitimate login. Third, port 80 and 443 HTTP and SSL HTTP. This is the jackpot. Nmap tells us exactly what is running. Apache 2.2.14 and PHP 5.3.1, very old code. But look at the Nmap script results. Nmap pulls the title of the website for us. Damn vulnerable web app login. We don't even need to guess our target. We know what framework this is. Look deeper here. This is critical. PHP sesset : HTTP only flag not set. This is a massive failure by the developer. It means they did not secure the session cookie. This means client-side JavaScript can read the cookie. How do we exploit this? We find a cross-site scripting vector on the web app, a comment box, a search field. We inject a payload. When the admin logs in and views that page, their browser silently executes our script and sends their session token straight to our Python listener. We steal their token, inject it into our browser, and we become the admin. We bypass the password entirely. Also look here, http-robots.txt:1 disallowed entry. The admin put a folder in robots.txt to tell Google, do not index this. If they try to hide it from search engines, that's the exact first place I'm going to look manually in my browser. It usually hides backup or admin directories. Last, port 3306. MySQL. This is a database. It says unauthorized. It means the firewall blocks external connections without authentication, but it is listening publicly on the network. How do we exploit it? We don't attack port 3306 directly. We attack the web app on port 80 to get to it. If we find a local file inclusion vulnerability on the website, we can force the server to read its own internal files. We request the configuration file for the web app. Inside that file, in plain text, will be the database, username and password. Once we extract those credentials, we open our terminal and connect directly. MySQL-H, the IP address, then -u root-p. We can pass the web application entirely. We connect straight to the brain. We dump every user, every password, hash, everything. This is how you read the metrics. We don't guess. We map the attack surface. We find the weakest point. The web server is bleeding information. The configuration is sloppy. We attack port 80 first to get our foothold, then we escalate. Let's go. Real hackers don't just click links on the homepage. We brute force the infrastructure. I type